Choosing road bike shoes can be a real challenge with all the new models and changing designs introduced in the last few years. That's especially true if you're a serious roadie who's looking for both speed and comfort from the shoes you'll wear most days of the week and ride several thousand miles or kilometers a year. Before my fellow testers and I write a review of road bike shoes, we'll spend a few months wearing them and wear them in different situations and compare them to others we've tested from a dozen brands. In this video, I'll tell you what we've learned from testing different road cycling shoes, about what should matter most when choosing your next pair. And towards the end of the video, I'll tell you which shoes we currently rate the best and highlight what we like about them so much. Hi, I'm Steve from In the Know Cycling, the ad-free, sponsor-free, and viewer-supported YouTube channel and website dedicated to helping fellow cycling enthusiasts decide what gear to get and where to get it. Okay, let's roll. The best road cycling shoes give you three things. Number one, efficient power transfer, so that the energy you deliver from your legs goes to your pedals with minimal loss through your shoes. Number two, a comfortable fit that makes it possible for you to deliver that power hour after hour without your feet ever complaining. And number three, good looks that motivate you to ride, perform, and endure all the while enjoying yourself. But how do road bike shoes give you those things? Well, let me break down each of them. Many of us have been led to believe from marketing that efficient power transfer comes from the stiffness of the shoe's bottom, or what's called the outsole. Outsoles on the stiffest and most expensive road bike shoes are made of carbon fiber. But less stiff ones and less expensive road bike shoes and most mountain bike shoes usually have outsoles made from composites or some combination of carbon fiber, fiberglass, and nylon, though most are fiberglass and nylon composites or just nylon. Now, shoe brands market stiffness ratings for their outsoles, but these are rather meaningless since there's no common measure or protocol used between different brands. Among all the shoes my fellow testers and I have reviewed, none of us have ever reported that one pair was more or less efficient than another because of the stiffness of their carbon soles. And my testers weighed between 110 and 250 pounds and put out somewhere between 500 and 1200 watts in a sprint. Instead, the difference in power transfer efficiency is more about how well shoes fit your feet. If your shoes fit you well, your feet won't shift around or move in the shoes. If they don't fit you well, there will be some play between your feet and the shoes, and that will make for less efficient power transfer. Now, how well a shoe fits your feet depends upon how well the last or the form of the shoe matches the shape of your foot and the closure system the shoe uses to keep your feet in place. When it comes to power transfer, the key parts of the last you want to match up with your feet are the heel cup volume, the arch height, and the forefoot width. And the dials, wires, and guides used in the closure system need to maintain that fit by tightening the shoes evenly. Road bike shoes that have a carbon outsole, well-fitting last, evenly tightening two-dial closure system, along with materials and construction techniques used in the uppers that wrap the top of your foot, is what separates the best road bike shoes, ones you'll pay around $400, pounds, or euros for, from the less expensive ones. Now, cycling shoes made for recreational riders that cost about $250, pounds, euros, or less will usually have a composite outsole, a less well-defined last, perhaps a single dial or a dial and Velcro closure system, and a lower performance upper. Those material and design distinctions will make all the difference in how efficiently you transfer your power and how comfortable your shoes are over long rides. And of all the places where you can spend an extra $150, pounds, or euros to make yourself faster and more comfortable, this is one that's going to pay off for you every day you're cranking it out on your bike. Those differences are absolutely worth it for me, and I would expect they are also worth it for most serious road cycling enthusiasts. Let's talk a bit more about comfort. As I said earlier, a comfortable fit makes it possible to deliver your power hour after hour without your feet complaining. Now, you can get a shoe that fits you well, The last is a good match for your feet, but isn't comfortable, perhaps because the tongue doesn't sit comfortably on top of your foot, or dialing in the closure creates a hot spot somewhere on your feet. Likewise, you can get shoes that feel comfortable but don't fit you well or transfer your power efficiently, perhaps because they're too roomy in some parts of the last. What you want are comfortable, well-fitting shoes. The characteristics of the last that are key to the fit you want for efficient power transfer, the heel cup volume, arch support, and forefoot width, are also key to your comfort. Too little of any of those will be painful, and too much and your foot will fatigue because it's moving around during the ride. In addition, you'll also want shoes that allow your toes to move freely. This means you need the right shoe length and enough toe box room to suit your comfort preferences. Some of us like a lot of toe box room to be able to spread out our toes. Others like just enough to be able to move them occasionally. As you can see, we chart each of these last characteristics for the different shoes we've tested. We also show the relative overall volume for each of the shoes, which comes from how much room there is from the heel cup through the middle of the foot up through the toe box. You'll also see we've tested shoes in different sizes, and that's because many brands give you a size chart with instructions on how to measure the length and width of your feet, and then they link those measurements to an EU shoe size. Fortunately, my fellow tester Nate's feet and mine are within a couple millimeters of each other, both in length and width, so we can wear the same shoes even though our foot shapes are slightly different. But that size runs anywhere from an EU 42 to a 44, depending upon the shoe brand. So it's important to measure your feet and not just assume that you'll wear the same size in different brands or models of shoes. Comparing each last characteristic to what you know about your feet can help you determine which shoes will likely give you the best fit. You can spend more time with this chart that I've just been showing you in my full review on the In the Know Cycling website using the link above or in the description box below. Now, a few other things are key to shoes comfort. The upper materials that wrap the top of your foot, including the tongue, need to be sufficiently supple, breathable, and durable. That will ensure that you get your feet in and out of the shoes easily, your feet don't sweat over long and hard rides or changing temperatures, and the shoes maintain their shape from one ride to the next. Also, the dials, laces, and guides used in the closure system should tension evenly across your feet so there are no hot spots or pressure points. The shoe construction should also avoid any rough seams or edges that can irritate any part of your feet or the area around your ankles. Finally, there has to be enough ventilation through the uppers, the outsoles, and the insoles, either from the materials used in the uppers or the holes and slots in the uppers and the soles to allow for cooling airflow. Putting it all together, the best road cycling shoes transfer power better and fit more comfortably than others. Our review includes dual dial carbon outsole road cycling shoes that rate average or better on both power and comfort. Some do both better, some are amongst the best for power or comfort, but only average for the other. I'll return to this chart of the best performers in a minute. Now, I've brought 3 pairs of shoes back into view here so we can spend a minute talking about style and fashion. As I said earlier, shoes that look good to you and perhaps others will motivate you to ride hard, perform your best, endure over a long ride, and just help you enjoy yourself out there on the road. But I list looks third after power transfer efficiency and comfort because I think you need to get those things right first. Now, of course, there are a lot of differences in styling and color choices. What I notice most are the differences in the shapes of the shoes, especially in the front, the look of the upper materials, and how they wrap or overlay the tongues, how they wrap or overlay your feet. Most shoes come in black and white, but some have bright color options that can give you more visibility and more style out on the road, and perhaps match your kit or your bike frame colors. To contrast some of the differences between shoes, let's take a look at 3 models from one company, Trek, that were all introduced on the same day. This is the RSL Knit, that sells for about $500. This one is called the RSL Road for about $450. And this one is the Veloce, which sells for about $250. I've been switching back and forth between these over the last month or so of riding. Now the outsoles on the RSL Fiber and the RSL Road are both carbon fiber outsoles. The Veloce is a composite of carbon fiber and I believe nylon. Now these are all 42.5 size shoes, but they have very different lasts. Overall, I'd say this is a form-fitting last. It fits really to the shape of your foot because it's a knit upper and has a very nicely shaped heel cup. The RSL Road is a very roomy shoe, has a lot of room in the toe box, high volume overall, but you can crank it down to get a good fit in the midfoot. And the Veloce is really more of a glove-like fit. Not a tremendous amount, although certainly enough toe box room, and a good average trim fit throughout the rest of the shoe, more like a Shimano or like the average shoe last and volume on the chart. The closure systems are all the same. They're all BOA Li2, which allows you to crank it down and pull up to fully release. But the placement of the dials and the guides and therefore the wires is a little different from shoe to shoe. The uppers, of course, are quite different. The RSL Knit has a knit upper. The upper on the RSL Road has a tremendous number of perforations and is very supple, very pliable. And the upper on the Veloce, a little stiffer, different ventilation pattern, but still comfortable, but not as supple as either of the other two. As this comparative chart shows, 4 of these road cycling shoes in our testing provide the most efficient power transfer and the most comfortable fit. The Specialized S-Works Torch is the highest volume shoe of the 4. It has a generous amount of toe box room, a nice rounded front area, it has a wide fit across the balls of your feet, and a very supple upper. It has BOA dials that are unique to Specialized that does a great job of evenly tightening the shoes across the midfoot and forefoot, but it doesn't go down as far as to the base of the toe area. And you also need to release the tension by turning counterclockwise as opposed to pulling up on the BOA dials the way you do with other top-of-the-line shoes. Now, my fellow tester Nate likes the wide fit of the heel cup. I find it too generous for my heels. He also finds the shoes ventilate very well on hot days. I'd like them to do a little bit better. There are other characteristics, likes and dislikes that you can read about this and the other shoes that we've put into our complete reviews that you can find using the link in the description box below. You can also buy these shoes using links in that description box to the stores I recommend for their competitive prices and good customer satisfaction ratings. And when you do, you'll help keep this channel and our reviews independent, ad-free, and sponsor-free, as some of the stores provide a commission that I'll put towards our review and technology costs. Thanks. Another one of the shoes that we recommend, the Shimano S-Phyre RC903, has a last that gives me a snugger, more glove-like fit that I prefer. There's plenty of toe box room, similar to what you get in the Specialized. The heel cup has a very well-tailored fit, not just around the bottom of the heel, but all the way up to the narrowest part of the heel bone. They're easy to get into, and the BOA L12 dials fully release the tension just by pulling up on them. The wire laces and guides also close the shoes nicely above the base of the toes. These shoes also come in distinctive colors, the red that you see here, a blue that's been a classic for a long time in earlier versions of this model, champagne and silver color that they have introduced recently, in addition to black and white. I did an entire video about this shoe if you want to see more, or you can read about them in my comparative review that I've referred to earlier. And if this video is helping you learn or decide more about what to get, and you want to see more videos like it, be sure to click the thumbs up and subscribe buttons below. The next shoe I want to show you is the Northwave Veloce Extreme. As the name suggests, it's all about going fast, and it's an extremely stiff shoe. Unlike most others, its carbon outsole runs the full length and width of the shoes and continues up the arch and across the heel. I've also found it to be a very comfortable shoe with even tensioning from the midfoot to the base of the toes. Its last characteristics are very much at the average or median of the best shoes that we've tested, with two exceptions. Its heel cup has a bit more volume, and its length runs a bit longer than most shoes of the same size. The Northwave shoes also use an X-style closure system, which is a bit more fiddly than the BOAs. It also has a rather stout leather-like upper without a lot of perforations. Now, my test period didn't include any hot summer days, but I'm not sure how well it will breathe on those kind of days. The overall weight of the shoes is about 100 grams or 3.5 ounces per shoe more than the average of the others. But while you might notice the weight difference when you pick up the shoes, or you might not, that amount of weight difference makes less than a tenth of a watt of difference, according to some research done for Trainer Road, where they looked at the acceleration from 0 to 90 RPM in 5 seconds. We've also rated the Sidi Wire 2 Carbon among the best for efficient power transfer and comfortable fit. They are stiff, breathable shoes with an excellent heel cup whose volume you can adjust. And Sidi also makes models with similar lasts that have their dials either on the sides, on the tongue, or one on the side and one on the tongue, as the case with the Wire 2. I'm not a fan of their proprietary closure system, however, and while I used to wear Sidis as my primary shoe, the Techno 3 push system they use takes a lot of steps to tighten or loosen the shoes while you're underway. Thanks for watching. Feel free to link to the stores where you can buy these shoes and to my full written reviews that compare the dozen or so shoes that we've tested in this category. Let me know about your experience with road bike shoes and anything I've shared in the video in the comments below. You can also check out some of my other videos, including those you see beside me, to help you decide what other gear to get and where to get it. Until the next video, have a great time out on the road and on the gravel.